has just been approved. Approximately 1 month after James Wilson and Roger Sherman proposed that 3/5 of all slaves would be counted in the state's population for representation in Congress, a new provision was added to tax 3/5 of these slaves along with the rest of the population. I'm Silperson Gunabalan with my co-anchor Edward Tu, informing you about the ongoings of the Constitutional Convention.
I think this is a necessary balance which perfectly highlights the dynamic of slaves being both property and people under the Constitution. Let's take a moment to appreciate the forward-thinking changes that these great politicians are bringing to our nation. With slavery being such a difficult issue, this is what is necessary to reunite this tumultuous nation and pass the needed Constitution. Let's go to Sir Harrington, who is interviewing Federalist Governor Morris.
Are we live? Thank you, Edward. Greetings, Governor Morris. Can you give us some insight on what's happening behind the doors of the Constitutional Convention?
Well, it's much too complicated for the average American to understand, which is why we hold it behind closed doors. But rest assured that the people inside are educated and are going to make the best decisions on how to run America in the future.
What's happening on this day of the convention?
Today, new provisions to the 3/5 clause were discussed and approved.
What are these provisions?
The 3/5 clause deals with the slave population in southern states. It accounts for 3/5 of the slave population to be taxed and also to be represented in the House of Representatives in the new bicameral legislature.
Do you agree with this?
I don't agree with slavery itself. I come from Pennsylvania, which is a free state. So in a perfect world, I believe that the entire slave population should be taxed and none of the slaves should be represented in Congress. But I do agree with the fact that there is a compromise, because it will make it easier for the document to be passed and ratified as a whole. That's the most important thing for our country.
Do you think anything about this clause should be amended?
I am always willing to discuss new changes, but I think the most important thing is for the clause to be passed so that the Constitution can be ratified. We need this document to be ratified so that America can run smoothly in the future. It is the most important thing that we have a strong central government because we don't want any more new rebellions to danger our country.
I see that you're speaking to American people. How do you think they're going to feel about this clause?
There has already been discord within those doors between the northern states and southern states. Although slavery is a big dividing issue, we need to come together on this compromise to make sure the Constitution is ratified. It is important to have a strong federal government to protect our country and make sure that we are unified and stable.
I've noticed that Thomas Jefferson hasn't been at the convention. How do you feel about this situation?
Thomas Jefferson is a Southerner himself and a slave owner. I think that he would be biased, and it is better off that we are holding this convention without him. We do not want any bias in our discussions of this clause, especially one who would want more power for the southern states. That is unfair and would endanger our country. Although I do believe it is more important for the document to be ratified, I appeal to you. Make sure you are not biased when you are thinking of the American future. We need the Constitution to pass, and I appreciate your support in creating a unified government for our nation.
Thank you, Governor Morris. Back to Silperson.
Thank you, Sir Harrington. Clearly the people can see what the right decision is. The Constitution is the only way to strengthen our country, and the 3/5 compromise is consistent with these goals. We will be back with more information on the 3/5 compromise after these messages.
Are you sick and tired of switching from your nearsighted to farsighted glasses? Don't your pockets get heavy and clustered with so many pairs? Don't you ever just wish to read a book or the daily paper while you're outside?
Yes.
Have no fear! Bifocals are here, the new and highly advanced forms of spectacles. They are a 2-in-1 deal. These lenses are special because when you look through the higher lens, you can see far. When you look down, you can see those tough words you missed in the paper. We must give all our credit to the one and only leader of the Federalists, Benjamin Franklin. With his help, we can now see more clarity in the choices and decisions we make. Unlike anti-Federalists. Starting at the low price of $1.25. Make sure you buy them fast because they are limited edition. Don't worry about any of those anti-federalists to beat you to it, because it will take them a while to convert all those different currencies.
Thanks, bifocals!
Now we've heard the correct statements made from a brilliant federalist, but we thought it would be fun for you to hear the thoughts of an immoral man against this compromise. Let's now go to our live reporter standing at the doorstep of the convention building.
Thank you, Silperson. Today we are here outside the convention floor with someone named Samson, an anti-federalist. Let's see what Samson has to say and all his thoughts about the convention.
It is completely unnecessary. The articles are perfect the way they are. Without them, we're not being taxed. The state governments are really strong. We're not becoming a monarchy. No King George.
But don't you feel we need a more unified government to run this country?
Not at all. We're fine. With the state powers, with the power in the states, everything's going well. No taxing. We're doing really well. Representation is
How can you call ourselves a country with individual state powers?
We have a federal government. It's very
But-
small, but we're good. That's all we need.
Okay. So, today we're discussing the 3/5 compromise. What do you feel about that?
At first, it was a great thing. We got more representation in Congress, and it was going really well. And then they decided to add taxes on us. It's not good. We should not have it passed.
Well, as a Southern anti-federalist, you get more representation. You're
But
gonna
we're
get
taxed.
more. But you're gonna get more laws passed
But
for
we're
you.
taxed. We can't have our money going into places like that.
It's called a compromise for a reason.
But we don't need the compromise. We just need more money for us, more representation, no taxing.
If it were to be passed, would you accept the agreement?
I don't know. I'm just really not liking that Constitution at all.
Okay, thank you, Samson. Back to you.
Well, that's one man's opinion. In other news, is Thomas Jefferson not at the convention because he has his own business in Paris? Word has it that he took slave Sally Hemings along with him, suggesting an affair?
More on this story after the break.